everybody. Welcome to World 1-1 Podcast.
Choose your fighter.
I am your host. Surprisingly, making his limited run return, Mr. Eddie B. Thank you guys for joining us. Joining me is Josh Buck to the Groove.
Yeah, hello.
Also joining us is Kathleen,
Hello, everybody.
the vivacious Johnson.
Ooh,
Ooh, I'm vivacious.
that's nicer than anything Larry has ever
I
said
know. Eddie, you can host all the time for being so nice. Dang. Take some tips, Larry.
Yes. Our host Larry wasn't able to make this episode, but hopefully things are working out. Hopefully he's feeling better, whatever the situation may be at hand. And also shout out to Dylan, who also couldn't make it. Hopefully everything is going good for him. It's just us three for this episode. So hopefully everybody is going to be having a great week, having a great weekend. There's a lot of games that have came out. A lot of games that we are catching up on, and a lot of games that we are anticipating. So hopefully you guys are, got your money ready, that you got your pre-orders. Some of you guys are playing the Division 2 now. I'm waiting for the game to the standard version to officially release, because I'm playing other stuff. But we're going to get into
Oh my gosh!
Video games.
So I'm going to actually start with you, Kathleen. What's in your pipeline?
So, everybody should not be surprised. Definitely playing Fortnite. We're going to start week 3 with their challenges tomorrow. Still enjoying the pirate theme, still discovering new things. They added, if you've seen Jurassic World, you know that they had those little spears that they drove around in. The little circle ball type things.
Yeah.
They put that vehicle into this game, and it has a grappling hook that you can shoot out and grapple your way around the map.
Really?
I don't understand it. I refuse to get in it. It looks stupid. I will have to try it, but it's annoying because you're trying to shoot the thing and it's like, get out of there. It's almost like a cheat because you can't shoot. Unless you have really good aim, you're not hitting it. But
It's like they're trolling you.
the whole game is
Epic.
just one
Epic
big
is
troll.
Trolling you now.
Epic is just trolling like crazy. But they're improving their ping system, which is very similar to the Apex ping system. So they're trying to compete with Apex. But we're just moving along with the pirate theme and the volcano and all the other stuff going on in the wonderful world.
I kind of want to ask you your quick thoughts on it, and this is not going to be a long conversation, everybody. How did you feel about about them kind of stopping crossplay for Switch, Xbox, and PS4, and how do you feel about all the lawsuits with the dance moves? They didn't get this. I think they got placed on hold. They didn't get this. I think they got dismissed or placed on hold, something like that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about it?
Well, I didn't hear about the discontinuing the crossplay. I think that's not a good idea. They really should stick with the crossplay because it allows people to really come together and interact. But I do see why they would discontinue it because it does
It's cross-party.
You can play. You should be able to play cross-platform. Like I can play with anybody. The only person who was having the issue was Sony. Sony was the big one who was saying, "I'm not going to allow it." But where Nintendo and Xbox were like, "Oh, well, Sony,
Hey,
screw
why
you.
not?
We're gonna do it."
Well,
So as a PC player, I was able to play with everyone, including mobile users. PlayStation was the only one that didn't allow the cross-platform. So
I think the way that the story is presented, and I might have it wrong, so I'm sorry, everybody. Is
no.
Xbox and PS4 won't be able to play with Switch players. Switch players are only going to be able to play with mobile players.
Oh,
something like that.
I had not heard about that. That was in the beginning, but I thought Xbox and Switch worked something out because we do play on the Switch, and we are able to play with Xbox. Yeah.
It was something cross-party something.
Right, and that was about a year ago. So I think they worked it out. And actually, Sony has been. So unless something new has come up, and I'd have to go back and check the news, I haven't kept up on it, and I haven't heard anything. But Sony was the one who was really saying no and would not go cross-platform. It was either PC. They would only allow cross-platform with PC players. Xbox was like, well, when the Switch came on, and Xbox was forced to do that until the Switch, and then Xbox and Switch players, or Nintendo came together and said, no, we'll allow them to cross-platform. So Sony really lost out on that, and that was a big mistake. So, and then the other question, it doesn't surprise me. Like, we talked about this in our chat, our cast chat, and I'm not going to rehash it. As I've said, and as I looked into it, you can't copyright dance moves. Right. And so the whole lawsuits, it's just people trying to get money and trying to stop this. And you knew it was going to happen. They're going to try it, but really Epic, I think, is safe. They're not calling them the same. So it's not in the game. It's not called the Carlton. It goes by a totally different name. And it's just like with anything, you can't claim that this is mine. So unless choreography cannot be copyrighted. Can some moves be attributed to an artist? Yes, but there's that whole copyright on what dance moves can be. So, it is what it is. Let's just say it didn't stop people from doing the fresh as an emote, which is what the Carlton dance is called. It didn't stop people from doing it in game. So,
right.
So yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, people should be honored and be like, yeah, okay. But I see where people would want to get a chunk of that money because people spend quite a bit on those emotes. Those are probably the best-selling things are the emotes.
Right.
So.
I also hear they're going to do a refund deal now. Like if you buy a skin that you don't want, they're going to offer. Button.
You can sell it back, but you can only do it 3 times. You have 3 chances for that.
Okay.
So you can't do it like you can't buy it, try it out, and then be like, oh, give me my money back. They do have a limit on how many times you can do that, which I think is smart on their part. And they did have it before, then they took it away, and now they're bringing it back. So
okay.
Yes. So Fortnite, of course, I've been playing Apex Legends. Surprisingly, I'm getting better at my shooting, although that post that you shared with us, that is okay, so Josh shared with our chat basically just a post about how, somebody's face, just how you are when you don't find a gun in Apex when you first land, and I'm telling you that is exactly how I look. If I don't find a weapon, it's like I just go out there and like, take me now, because you are not going to do anything. So, and that happens more often.
On that point.
It is because, but it also forces you to go to certain areas, and that's the one thing I do like about Fortnite compared to Apex is that you are going to find a weapon, and there's a chest, there's a weapon. In their supply bins, you're not always guaranteed to find a weapon, and I think that's their mistake. If you had those supply bins, and even if you color code them and that you knew this one has a weapon, a guaranteed weapon, I think that would make it much easier. They are also talking about bringing a solo mode, which I'm excited about because
why not?
I mean, for me, that will help because that will help me learn the terrain, learn where the best places are. It's like with Fortnite, that's how I learned, by playing solo. Even if they did like a team rumble like Fortnite where it's 30 versus 30, that would also be helpful. That would help people like who want to play the game but not have to deal with all the toxicity that can happen. Now again, it's not bad. I've had good partners. I've had really mean ones have been like, you suck, when I was the only one getting any damage in my shots. But it is what it is. But they need to start looking. Apex is going to definitely have to change some things up if it wants to compete with Fortnite, which, if you notice, Apex is starting to lose its ground, especially if you're looking at the Twitch streamers. A lot of Twitch streamers are going back to Fortnite, although, so it's not as big of a selling point as it was, or I don't think it's ever going to destroy Fortnite like everybody was predicting. But I also been playing a lot more on my Switch, Tetris 99. Who would have thunk Tetris as a battle royale would be fun?
Right.
And
I know.
it is frustrating. I did finally get my first win, but I feel like I'm always so close, but I just can't finish.
And you know, the weirdest thing to me is that I don't care what place I get in. I love the fact that I get to play around with other people and just see how long we last playing Tetris. And that to me, that's fun than just trying to reach number one. It's cool that everybody could do all that stuff, but it's just like, I love that I get number 44 or 32, because that means that my Tetris skill is still good enough my Tetris skill is good enough to last this long.
Yes.
Compared to me playing like the actual Tetris game.
So it is definitely fun, and I like how it has that. It kind of reminds me of how we would do Tetris battles on our NES back when I was younger, where we'd have the two dual TVs and see who could go the longest. So, but it's nice when you're competing against all these other people. Although I hate it when they gang up on me. And I will have like 6 people send in everything my way, and it's like, why are you targeting me? I am not about to lose. But that's where I get most frustrated. But that game is fun. I started playing Mario Odyssey again. I did not get out of the desert area last time. I finally made it out of the desert area.
That's like the second island. the first island of the game.
I got when we got our Switch, we got Mario Odyssey with it. And I started playing it, and I thought, God, this game sucks. I really didn't like it in the beginning, so I'm like, ugh.
Games do that sometimes. You just
it didn't.
Catch you.
And I think I was expecting the same feeling as Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy hooked me, and I liked that gameplay. This I did not care for initially, but I've gone back, and I'm like, okay, I think we can start playing it again. So, yeah,
That's cool.
Stick with it.
I'm going to, and especially since I'm starting to play more on the Switch, and that's thanks to Tetris 99. So, let's see. I've been playing a lot of different games. I did, been playing a lot on the NES, the online, Zelda 2. Star Tropics came out, which I'm excited. I started playing that again.
I need to start that.
I got a new game called Valley that I noticed that came into the shop on the Switch. It looked interesting. I don't know anything about it yet. I haven't started it. And finally, I downloaded Slime Rancher for Epic, which is free right now in the Epic Game Store. And Josh, as I was telling Eddie, I started playing it last night on my stream, or this morning about 1, 2 o'clock. 3 hours later, I'm still playing this stupid little game, farming all these slimes, trying to get all they call them plorts.
Slime Rancher?
Yeah, I was trying to get these plorts, which I guess is slime poop, and just so I could exchange it for money. And I'm just realizing, like, 5 o'clock in the morning, I had been streaming nothing but this Slime Rancher, and I'm like, dang, I got a problem. So it is one of those games that
I played it on Xbox One, so
that's where I have it too.
Yeah, well, yeah, it works just as well on the PC. So
right.
And then just some mobile stuff, nothing exciting. I'm trying to think if that's it. Yeah, they came out with a new Zelda 2 special game where now you start off the game with level 8 attack, level 8 life, and level 8 magic, but you don't have any of the other items or any of the heart containers, and you get to go through the whole game at that power. I've never realized how easy that Death Mountain area is to get that hammer when you're on level 8. Where normally I can't get through, and you don't lose any lives either, so that's kind of a nice little... For those who want to play Zelda 2 and had a heck of a time and didn't like the leveling up, I suggest if you've got the Nintendo Online, go play that special edition, because that will... At least then you can enjoy the game and not have to struggle as much, so...
The Dark Souls of Zelda.
Sorry, I got a lot of games this week. It was kind of nice.
That's good.
Instead of just Fortnite.
Yeah, good.
But that's it.
So Josh, what's been in your pipeline?
Okay, so I've been playing some more Hollow Knight. Just been dabbling here and there with that. I did play Tetris 99.
Yes.
I didn't play that much of it, but I've got I was number 9 last night, and I got out. So I was like, okay, this is cool. I was just playing, minding my own business, just keep playing, and all of a sudden it got faster. I'm like, no, come on, I'm just a casual Tetris player. Don't do that. So that's when I kind of went out at that point. So I'm like, okay, now I got to get used to going. Like, I'm not really a great Tetris player, but it's a fun game, so I don't mind it. I did play a little. I actually started Dead Cells, and I just started playing that, and I know that Larry would be happy with me because that's the game I bought. I think I bought it like the first week I was on the podcast, and I haven't tried it yet.
Neither
yeah,
I started it. I have it, but I haven't started it. So.
But yeah, I recommend. I mean, I just played for like 15, 20 minutes, and I'm really liking it. So I know I'm going to get back into it. I did play some more Late Shift. I don't know why I'm addicted to that game so much.
I've been wanting to pick that up.
If you got Game Pass, it's on there, but I got it for like $4 before I got Game Pass. And I just, it's just like reminds me so much of like a 90s FMV video game.
And they said it's so good.
Like, it is. The first time you play through it, you kind of just like, okay, that's my story. Now I'm going through it again, trying to do the other stories, but then I find myself like, don't want to make those choices. Or I just say like, oh, I'm going to do this one, or I'm going to do that, and then I end up back to where I was. So I'm like, okay, how the hell do I get to this other choice, other ending? There's like 7 endings, and I've only seen 3.
I'm planning to get in the game on Switch, because it's something that I want to take with me. So if I'm waiting for something, I'll be like, okay, I'm watching the movie, but then I'm playing the game and I'm making decisions. Yeah. I heard it. Yeah, I heard it's really, really good. And like that in Her Story. And there's another FMV game. They were just like, the realm of FMV games may make a return if stuff like of these games like this keep happening.
Yeah, because the stories are great, and they're a little different than they were in the 90s. They're just they just are rounded out now. So like you have the choices you want to make, not necessarily the ones they want you to make. So there are, it is pretty interesting how they do it. I actually like it a lot. I just find myself, if I have like an hour to kill, it only takes about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to go through one story. Okay. So if you just kind of like do that, you're like, okay, I'll just do this. And it's kind of like, for me, it's great. What else have I been playing? And I played some more Super Mario Run, which kind of, I know I have, but I have not played Dragalia Lost yet, and I know that I know I've been having this pain in my stomach, and then I realized it's Kathleen's foot up my ass because I haven't played that game. So
wow,
because I did agree to play if you played, and you did play. So
that was 2 weeks ago. You had 2 weeks.
I know, it's crazy. I just gotta get back into it. I've been playing A Link Between Worlds still. I don't know why that's taking me so long to get through, but for me, the 3DS is a great console. I really love it, but I don't like really playing when I'm sitting at home. So I kind of like when I'm out and about or doing something. I just haven't really been out and about that much this week. I had a few days off of work, but it was kind of like I had some doctor's appointments, stuff like that. So I didn't get anything I really wanted done, of course, And then I have tomorrow off, but, my yard needs to be mowed. And I do live in South Florida, so yes, my yard does grow in the winter. So
I don't have that problem yet.
I know. I have to mow my yard and get all that stuff done. But let me see what else. I think that's about it. I haven't played that much, but not that little either.
Okay. Yes. So stuff that's been in my pipeline. I'm actually going to start with Xbox One, then go to PS4, then Switch. So Xbox One, if people know, I did pick up Crackdown 3, and it's a really fun game. Like I said in my Yoshi Yaks, that I think it's a game that if you own Game Pass or if you are a Microsoft player, this is a game that's actually worth to get and play. If it's worth $60, that depends on when you're going to buy it or when you plan on buying it. If you feel like there's a good sale that's on it, do pick it up, because I think what I like about this game is that it's not a big map. You could pretty much do everything. If like you could pretty much beat the game within 2 to 3 days. It's definitely fun with co-op. Like, this is a game that you would definitely enjoy with a friend. It's still funny, and like even when you finish the game and stuff, you kind of want to return back and try to collect everything. There is some bugs still to it, so I'm still waiting for a patch. Even though I beat the game, there's some stability patches or some stability that needs to be fixed with it. Like, because there's sometimes the frame rate drops like crazy for no unknown reason, and
Really?
yeah, it gets so stuttery and so cutty that bosses are like are just like going through screens that they don't have a smooth flow. It's just like so choppy and stuff, and I'm like, oh my goodness, no. But when it is running nicely, when it is running at 30 frames per second, and you and another person is playing and talking and stuff, and just having a blast, it's so much fun. Crackdown 3, I would say this: Crackdown 3 is probably the game to get for February over Anthem. If you was thinking of big anticipated games, not Metro Exodus or anything, but like between Crackdown 3 and Anthem, I think Crackdown 3 brought more fun than Anthem. Don't get me wrong, I love Anthem. Anthem is fun to play.
It is good.
I will say that. I think it still needs some patches. I think it still needs some fixes. I think it's a game that felt like it should have been delayed to May. You know,
I agree with you, but I do think that I don't know if they had the time to do it. They needed to get it out. If they didn't get it out, it's going to get swamped by Division 2, and that's the real problem there.
I think. But and this is the thing that even happened out with Fallout 76, and I mentioned this many times, is that when you put a demo out before your actual release product, you don't give gamers time to like reflect and respond and stuff for you to patch everything. It just felt like you rushed it out, and then you had Apex Legend come out before that, which had a better reception than what you guys was getting from the betas and everything.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, with all the release dates and times and stuff coming out, and like I said, I'm like, because you put it out for premier players, they're gonna ruin and speak about the game beforehand.
Sure.
Before everybody else. So that's a big problem that, EA and BioWare definitely could have avoided, I think, if it would have came out with May. I don't think they would have any competition to look forward to besides Nintendo. I think it would have flowed right, because you got like Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts in January. You would have had Crackdown 3 and Metro Disc, which would have set you right. You got the Division 2 and Yoshi's Crafted World just like in March alone. And DMC 5. Next month you got like a whole bunch of Nintendo games and Mortal Kombat 11, and then you really don't know too much besides some Nintendo games for May. For like Microsoft or even PlayStation, Anthem would have fit that mold right there before you get into your Nintendo Switch summer, because just like everything, like crazy stuff, is jumping for the rest of the year. So I think with Anthem, the flying is good. I still prefer Daemon X Machina. The flying is good. The shooting is good. The fights are what makes Anthem fun. And I think if they incorporate that more and still give us some story, for some DLC story stuff, and to kind of work on the character balances, I think Anthem is going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be nominated Game of the Year. But if I had to give it a nomination, I would say probably best gameplay of 2019. I would nominate it for that.
Oh no, I agree. I really love Anthem's gameplay. The gunplay and the flying are some of the best best done versions of this I've ever had in games, especially in a game like this. It's really good. It's fun too. So
playing Devil May Cry 5, getting ready for a review for that. I think, sorry for the long pause.
I know you don't like it, so.
No, I think it's good.
Okay.
I am surprised that this game is good. I think DMC Devil May Cry has ruined me in a sense on how I want to now play kind of Devil May Cry games. I think what the bad part with this game is that all three characters feel unbalanced in a sense, where Dante, it feels kind of like the best person ready to play the whole game with. I feel like they don't give you anything to improve your skill, or make you feel like that skill that you did buy has enough power damage, because it's like you could do all this crazy stuff with all the enemies and stuff, and then you get to the boss and you're chipping away. So your boss fights feel like almost 35 to 45 minutes long because you're chipping it away. And the camera is not good in this game. It's like this is Ninja Gaiden 2 territory of bad camera. Because the thing about it is that it has some transparency, but at times if you move the camera, you're hitting something, but you can't see it. You move the camera a little bit again, then you can see the enemy that you're hitting. And it's just like, this doesn't feel right. You know, you have to hold, I'm playing on Xbox One, so you have to hold the RB button to, you know, lock on. But that's also for you like to kind of dodge, kind of do some other moves and stuff. And it's just like, this could have been simplified, and it's not. And because when you're playing as Nero, you really don't get no other weapon. You're kind of stuck with the sword and your guns. You kind of wish that the arm breaker, or I should say arm breaker, not guns. Your arm breaker. I really wish they would have gave you a combo list where you could switch out your arms, like before you start the mission, and keep that on. And you would be able to use the sword in your arm and combos, and they don't give you that option. So it's just like I'm at a point where I barely don't even use the arm, because it's just like I'm not about to be running around trying to. I'm not going to be trying to fight enemies and stuff. I mean, I've been using a grappling hook, but it's just like, I use it here and there and stuff. I use it here and there because I want to get through some of these fights because they take too long and they're kind of boring. And it's boring in the sense that I can't do no other combos to make my stuff feel stylish. So it's just like, what am I supposed to do? I gotta play with what V is okay, but I think they could have did it better with this combat. But he's fine. Dante is good. I think he's the most balanced one to play and everything. So I'm going to be like getting a review for that. I'm almost done with the game, so I'm gonna finish that up, and then I'll be done with that. But yeah, I know the Division 2. I haven't picked up, but from what I played at the beta, I do like it. I'm looking forward to that game. Going from PlayStation 4, I picked up Prey, I picked up Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I picked some other games up, but I'm about to jump into the rest of Final Fantasy 12 and Secret of Mana. I'm going to finish those up. I'm sorry, everybody, I have to jump on Xbox to do some reviews and stuff for some games. But I'm going to be playing that because I am about to jump into Hellblade. I'm going to be having a roundtable discussion with some of my friends on my podcast, hopefully later on next month, because I really want to play this game and really kind of have a discussion about it, but having a discussion that people don't expect about it. So I really can't wait to that. But jumping on to Nintendo Switch, Harvest Moon, Light of Hope. I have been addicted to. I have been playing it every day. I was just like, you know what? I bought this game last year. Let me pop this in, and I've been playing it every day. It's bringing me more fun than Devil May Cry, which is surprising. Me and Kathleen was talking about. That's why when she mentioned Slime Rancher, I was just like, the same way you feel about this. I feel like I was 3 or 4 hours set, and I'd be like, crap, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. And and literally playing this goofy game, and it's just like, oh wow. But I'm enjoying it. I think it's a little bit better than Stardew Valley. But I do have Stardew Valley for Xbox One, so I will be jumping back and forth into that. I think I'm kind of understanding how everything works in that game. But man, yeah, Harvest Moon, Light of Hope is so good, and I just, it got my heart racing and pumping and hype for Animal Crossing for Switch. Cause if Animal Crossing is something like this, but Nintendo and it's better, I'm hooked. I mean, I'm a big fan of Animal Crossing anyway. I can't play it on the 3DS, even though I should have bought those games. Ever since Animal Crossing came on GameCube, I always just recognize it as a console game. So I definitely am looking forward to this game for Switch. Finished the Daemon X Machina demo, and I have to say this: it's still my most anticipated game. It's kind of in the running for my game of the year if they fix some things like the frame rate. If they balance some of the issues with the difficulty, because some of it is kind of unfair, like some enemies you can't see very well. So if they fix things like that, and I'm glad that they did delay it. And I think I posted this, and I was telling you guys this, that this is how you do a demo, a trial mode, a prototype mode. Is that you get the demo out, let people play what's actually going to be in the game or something, and then give an announce date and apologize that you guys have to delay and stuff, that it's going to still take a while, but your feedback is going to help us. So if we do have to still delay the game to make the game better, I'm all for it. If they want to delay Daemon X Machina to the fall, go right ahead, because I would rather them make sure that the game is up to snuff and quality, because I enjoyed this game. Like, I enjoyed the fights. It looks graphically and colorfully, it looks great and amazing. Like, stuff pops, and I'm just like, I want to see this game succeed. I wanted to hit, like, even if it just hit 500,000 units sold, I would be satisfied. Like, I don't care if it hits 1 million or not, but I want this game to sell, and I want people to like pick it up and talk about it, because it's something to me personally that feels fresh and something that the game industry needs. So, I think let's see. I got Transistor for Switch. Sorry everybody, I had to pull out my Switch to see this stuff. I got Ape Out. I got which is fine. Darker Hood, which is fine. I got Riddle Corpses X. I got it as a demo, as something that I need to play. I still have Deltarune that I need to start. And I need to start Undertale also. I have Final Fantasy 9 that I'm going to start. Wargroove is great. Yoshi's Crafted World is my biggest game for this month that I'm definitely looking forward to. It's literally going to be the game that I'm just going to spend time with. So probably won't beat it until 2 or 3 weeks after it comes out. I mean, I'm going to try to beat it fast because it's another review that I'm doing. But Yoshi's Crafted World, I think, may take it for most graphically an impressive game for me this year. It's probably gonna be Yoshi's Crafted World with the Daemon X Machina following underneath it. I think Yoshi's Crafted World is so fun and so pleasantly looking at it and playing it, but there's just something just like, once again, this shows why Nintendo is who they are, and that no other company will do anything like this. I give it up to Media Molecule for doing something different. Definitely with the Little Big Planet. The execution might have not been there, but I'm glad they went with a different art style to show that they are very creative. And wherever Dreams come out to be, I believe, and I like Media Molecule. I think they're one of Sony's best companies.
Yeah.
Along
Absolutely.
with Team Eco, along with Naughty Dog, and along with Sucker Punch, and the Guerrilla Games. Like, Sony has some great first-party developers.
So all of them are the greatest. I'm just giving you. We're fine.
I mean, like some of the other ones I respect. Like Naughty
Yeah,
Dog,
you're
I
right.
respect, but
Yeah.
I would put, like, if Insomniac was part of Sony's crew, Insomniac would be way higher on the list than Naughty Dog. Don't get me wrong, I respect Naughty Dog for what they do. I do enjoy some of their games, but there's just something about them that I'm just like, you know what? I'll play something from Sucker Punch. I'll play something from Guerrilla Games. I'd rather play something from my Media Molecule and stuff like that. Or I'll just play my Xbox or Nintendo Switch or Game Boy.
Yeah,
But
I hear you.
I think Naughty Dog, they have a heart and they have a passion for games, and I do enjoy them. I think they're the ones that really make me critique them the hardest when it comes to Sony games. Not
Yep.
because they're not professional or anything, not because their games are great, but it's because that I could dig deeper into them that other people don't normally do. They look at the surface that, oh, they did this. I'm like, well, they did this, and I could talk about why they did this and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's what's been in my pipeline. That's everything that I've been playing. Hopefully, I'll have more for you guys to talk about. I know next week I won't be on the show because of work. Back on schedule. Yes,
Wow.
I know. But I will have
Surprise, Eddie. Big surprise.
Dang.
I will have a Yoshi Yak that's gonna be straight dedicated to all the games that I've been playing, because there's a lot that's coming out and I really want to get into the Division 2 and stuff. So everybody, that's what we all been playing. That's what's in our pipeline, and we want to know what you guys knowing what you guys been playing and everything. So at the end of the show, when we plug, you know where to send it at. So with that, everybody, we will take a break. Jesse.
We're back.
And now it's time for the news. Yes, everybody, we are back. We're going to get into some news at this World One News Desk. And we're actually going to jump it off with you, Josh, because you brought something up that was really important. So I'm headed off the first part of news to you. Then we're going to get into more news, because it's been a crazy week for the USA and for Japan. So drop us the first news, Larry. Josh.
Oh, come on. Just because I'm a white guy, Eddie,
And you have
No.
a beard.
and I'm kind of a beard. I don't have any kind of beard like Larry does, that's for sure.
Ooh, this
So-
must our
Hey, at
first
least
group.
Josh. At least he didn't call me Larry. Now, if he called me Larry,
It'd be on then.
I have
It's on like Donkey Kong at
I
that time.
have turned into my inner white woman, and I'm trying to spin off my
All right, so apparently Sony has announced that Vita is discontinued, and everybody can weep, cry, whatever you want. If you don't have a Vita, you better get one now. If you want one in the box, new anyway. Personally, I sold my Vita a while ago, and I'm kind of regretting that decision. So I'm thinking I might want to try to pick one up. I'm gonna try to pick a new one up, I think. That's just me. What's going on with you guys about that?
don't care.
Well, we know you don't care, Kathleen, because you just play PC shit. So
I would say
I
this
also
about
played Switch. Shut it.
yeah,
I would say this about Vita is that it had potential, but Sony didn't believe in the system after its release.
right.
way
I believe
they-
that. Yep.
Their relaunch of this system was very problematic compared to what they did with PS1. They didn't put enough memory cards. The games didn't play well.
The memory cards are worst thing about that system.
Right. I mean, it became a good, remote play in somewhat
Oh, yeah.
games for it. But they just did not believe in the product. They tried to compete with 3DS, and instead of competing with it, they should have been trying to complement it.
Right.
Of course, they had the 3G model with AT&T, and then they had the standard one, and it was good that they with the cartridge. But when they had the issues with the memory stick, that you only could save games with that memory stick, and you couldn't use nothing else to to take to save it and stuff. Well, when they didn't release it, and a lot of stores didn't get it restocked for a good while, everybody blew it off. Like, yeah, Uncharted
it was expensive too. People
Right.
forget it was expensive.
It was
Those memory cards are expensive, and I think that was a direct. I don't mean to interrupt you, Eddie, but it was
No,
a
go ahead.
direct. It was a direct result of the PSP and the massive amounts of people downloading games for the PSP and totally pirating, that they just totally overcorrected the wrong way.
Right.
Yeah. So, I think Vita could have something going for it, but it's one of those things that Sony just does not have. Sony doesn't have what Nintendo has, and that's innovation.
Right.
And that's believing in your innovation, believing in your the idea is supporting it. You can say whatever you want to say about Wii U, even with Switch, 3DS. You can say a whole bunch of stuff with some of the systems that it just didn't sell major. I was just like, it did enough. Like I always said, when your system can make your competitors try to copy what you do and fail at that, then you as a system have done your job of being a leading example. I don't care what you say about the Wii. You got Connect and Move. I don't care what you think about the sales of the Wii U. You had PS Vita and you had Windows. What was the Windows thing? Glass.
Yeah.
The Glass thing, and they were trying to do that with their systems.
Right.
Once again, everybody is trying to do something that Nintendo have been doing in the past, and they don't. Unless you were successful and you did it better than Nintendo, then I could understand that. But they didn't. And definitely with the PS Vita, they tried to do something and prove that they were better than the 3DS. But Nintendo's 3DS is still strong and have a great lot of games, and which is very cool that you can play 3D games without using no glasses, or you had these really cool ideas and smart games that's selling 4 to 5 million. Heck, look at Pokemon. It's still going strong. But people got hyped for Animal Crossing. People got hyped for Mario Kart. New Super Mario, well, that was more DS. But you got a lot of companies who, and I don't care what you say about Square Enix, for them to be blown away on how Bravely Default did. Bravely Default wouldn't have did nothing of his own Vita. Monster Hunter 4 on 3DS actually got people more into the series than any of the Nintendo or PlayStation games have done.
Right.
Why you think you have a success with Monster Hunter World? If Monster Hunter 4 came on PS Vita, do you think it would have sold the amount that it sold on 3DS? No, you wouldn't. But PS Vita is still a great system. I still feel like it should have been supported more. It's a great indie system for Sony players, and I really think they had something there with remote play, and I think they still do. I just wish that Sony believed in their product more.
Yeah, exactly. They've been trying to kill that thing since they made it, pretty much.
Yes.
And it was pretty sad because, I mean, it is a powerful system.
Yeah.
And I have used it in remote play with my PS4, and I was actually just floored at how good it worked. So I'm like, okay, well, why aren't they pushing this thing? Like when Sony when the PS4 came out, why didn't they push that? That idea of the remote play. They said, oh yeah, you can remote play and all that, but they should have sold a bundle with a Vita or something. I mean, or gave a deal on the Vita or something, so you could actually play it. It would have been great.
Yes, I fully agree. So, sad to see the Vita go. But you know, people are probably gonna be selling their used copies or used ones, and you know, I wish and hopefully in the future that if Sony does come back to the handheld space, that they really support that handheld and make it feel like a complementary system to any console and even their own console. Really believe in the product, and even if you don't have major third parties supporting that system, you support the system. You pay some indie developers and you get some second part developers to put some great games on that system.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Kathleen don't care. So
Well, no, because I'm thinking,
Right.
because here's what I'm thinking. You know, we talked about how you were saying how Sony didn't support it, and that's the case. Part of me wonders if they didn't support it because their focus was on the casual gamers secretly. Because you know, you talked about how it was compatible and having that what'd you say it was?
remote play.
The dual. People aren't gonna always spend the money on both hardware.
No, I
And
understand that. And I understand.
I think that's probably the problem was. That's why they didn't really promote it well, and it was expensive. Unlike the DS and the 3DS, even you know, Nintendo's moved away from the 3DS, and now all they sell are 2DSs again, that are shaped just like the 3DS,
Yes.
but they still make it more affordable. So
Right.
I think that's the problem. They were thinking too far ahead, and they couldn't make it affordable. If they could make it affordable,
No, you're right, because
That's
look
where-
at the Switch.
yeah, I mean,
You know, the Switch is basically a Vita.
it is. I
Yeah.
mean, but of course now we're going to see a lot more of these coming out from. I think we're going to start to see them trying to come up with something similar. I think,
I
and
hope.
I think that's that'll be the next thing. Like shoot, but that's what Nintendo's good for. So anyhow, that's my 2 cents. I'm done.
Well, we're gonna move on to the next story, and we're gonna start with Japan before we get to the U.S. Sega halts sale of Judgment Eyes after actor is arrested for drug possession. This story is coming from Game Informer, so it's going to be a long read because I gotta break this all down for you guys to understand. Last year, Sega revealed Judgment, a new title. Oh, well, Judgment, that's the name. Not Judgment. Judgment Eyes was the supposed title, but they took the Eyes part out. Last year, Sega revealed Judgment, a new title adjacent to the Yakuza series that features a lot of the same gameplay and takes place in Kamurocho. It was released in December to decent critical acclaim and is scheduled to be released in the West this summer. But a recent issue with the actor in the game may have totally derailed Sega's future plans. Like Yakuza, Judgment uses real film and often well-known actors to play the parts of the characters in the game for both marketing and performance quality reasons. One of the actors used this time around is Pierre Taki, a member of the Japanese synth-pop group Denkai Grove Band, and actor in movies like Attack on Titan and Shin Godzilla, as well as the Japanese dub voice of Olaf in Frozen. Late last night, or some time ago, Japanese police arrested Taki on possession and use of cocaine, setting off a firestorm that has resulted in the entire game being pulled from shelves in digital stores. On Tuesday night, Taki took a mandated drug test that showed cocaine in his system, prompting an official narcotics investigation by police. While no cocaine was found in his car, police believe the drugs in his system and a South Korean won-bill that they allege he used as a straw for the drugs painted enough of a picture to arrest the actor for possession and use of cocaine. Sega responded swiftly by removing the game for sale. We contacted Sega America last night to ask if this delays any plans for the resting release of the game, and they declined to comment on the situation. Meanwhile, Sega would not be shipping any more copies of the game, at least until they do whatever it is they are going to do about it. This is not the first time this specific thing has happened with Sega and the Yakuza studio in particular. The recent release of the Yakuza 4 remaster completely recast one of its 4 protagonists after accusations of cocaine usage. It is unclear if Sega plans to do the same thing for Judgment. especially as that would be a lot of work for the same release of the game. Disney has also released a statement saying that they are looking into recasting Taki in the upcoming Frozen 2. For the moment, Judgment is still intended to release in the West on the 21st. And this is a Game Informer's take on it. This seems like a massive reaction on basically every level. I don't think anyone would argue that Taki is virtuous for his drug use, but putting the game for sale and basically burning his career to the ground over this seems insane. I get that different cultures are going to view drug use differently on societal levels, but considering how possession of cocaine is considered a bigger taboo and career ender than possession of child pornography, some priorities are absolutely out of whack here. So, I was hearing some more about this, and it's something about Japanese culture that they said they take this seriously because of how it reflects on the company and stuff.
Right. So company culture. Yeah. Right.
So Sega pulled it. So anyone who has the game in Japan and anyone who has it here in America, because it is region free, anyone who has a copy now, I don't know if there's going to be a patch to fix the voice, but you now have literally I'm trying to think of the word and I cannot think of it. Like a game that's like really high value.
Collector's item, basically.
Yeah, a collector's item.
It really is.
Like this has become a collector's item. Not a valuable game. So it's something like that, high value, like something like that. So if it doesn't get patched or anything for people who got the digital or the physical version, they have that kind of game. I don't know anything about Judgment. Only seen this at Tokyo Game Show, and that was the last thing I seen about it.
Okay. So Judgment is in the Yakuza universe. You know that, right? Yep.
Yes.
So it's a game I was actually looking forward to playing, and I have pre-ordered it for here. So hopefully I get it now. I don't even know if I'm going to get it or not. I pre-ordered it on Amazon for my PS4, so I'm kind of excited about it. I was excited because it was a new story, a new kind of just idea in that universe. I really like the Yakuza games. I don't have as much time as I want to play them because the actual Yakuza games, you can play them, probably the main story, you could probably play them in 40 to 50 hours.
Yes.
But the actual, if you want to complete the games, totally do everything you got to do, you're talking about $100 plus. And some of these games are online. There's online components to them, like Yakuza 3 and all that. But I really haven't gotten into that much of it. I just like to play the single player stories. So I have all of them on my PS4, and I was really looking forward to this one. So this is kind of a bummer for me. So hopefully I get it on time.
I think what's going to happen is that they're going to cast a different voice actor.
I think so.
I think they probably bought they stopped the digital and the physical sales. They did, and this is personally for me, because they had to pay that actor for every copy that sold. Right. That might be it. They have fired and don't want to work with him, or probably something with the contract it probably broke or something, and so now they don't need him anymore, so they're gonna probably recast him as the voice. So we might get a delay in America if they're recasting the voice actor, but for right now, because I love the Yakuza series too, for right now, I don't know how the people in Japan are taking it. I think if people have already bought the game and it's not selling as much as it could, this scandal would have helped brought up sales for it. No doubt.
Right.
But
it's just like for you and me that like the game, it's just kind of a bummer. Because we're like, are we going to get it? Or are we going to get it later? what's going to happen. I mean, we're going to get it. It's
We're
just
gonna
it's just going to matter of when.
Yeah. Kevin, any thoughts about it?
Don't know. I didn't even see the news story. I don't know much about the game, so for me, it's not. It's not. For me, I'm not like, oh shoot, what's going to happen? But I agree with everything that you guys said. What is this going to do with those who wanted the game? And again, it doesn't surprise me that they're taking this hard of a stance. Again, like we said, the drug culture over there, they come down harder on people for drugs. We've seen it when we see it in the American news when Americans go over to these countries and they get caught with drugs, what happens to them. So it doesn't surprise me. I think what surprises me though is the response of the author of the article, and it's like, really? You're kind of dissing on them and their culture, and it's like,
yeah, that is kind
understand.
of intolerant, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, why are you? I'm trying to think of the best way to say it, but
it's probably because of the fact that Sega pulled, like this one scandal thing. Sega has pulled the game and stuff where they take this more like you said, they take this more seriously than child pornography because of the Rockstar or who did Devil May Cry 5.
right.
When he was allegedly with the child pornography stuff.
Okay.
They didn't make that as a big thing, and Capcom didn't pull it. But when they replaced them, but they didn't pull they didn't pull their game or anything. It still came out, and people still was able to purchase the game, and
Well,
that didn't seem.
when did that happen? How long ago was that?
That happened last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think around August or September or August, something around that time, because it was later found out that I think it was the musician. I think he was like alleged with it. I'll have to look it up to give you an actual detail. Yeah.
I think okay, because that was also going to be my next point. Look at where we are, even 6 months later from that. They probably got criticism for not being more strict. So now these companies are like, well, we need to be more strict. So, it's kind of an unfair judgment when, if you go back and look at the comments back in that case, they probably were thinking, why didn't they pull these games? So now people are like, well, we're going to pull these games anytime we have a scandal. So it's like,
Right.
And they really could.
You can't have it all these different ways, people. Just
Right. And
let's
they
deal with it and see what happens. It'll come.
They couldn't pull Devil May Cry 5 out when that part happened because the game wasn't out. The game was planned for 2019. So now that was worldwide, Capcom was able to go in and fix it. But because of this happened, Sega should have. They believe that Sega should have still let the game be out on sale, still have been on the digital platform, made some money off it, sold those copies that they shipped. And then, just got rid of that inventory, because Sega's losing out on money now.
Yeah.
Because of them pulling the game, those other actors who are supposed to get paid for that game, they're not going to get paid. Whatever deal that they wrote, that they made with that, they're not going to get paid, because now they're missing, Sega and their company is missing sales to catch up. This would have helped them jump up more sales, probably reach their budget and go. And it's a bad thing, but I'm like, if a game becomes a collector's item, people are going to spend the money to go
Oh,
get it.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because in our next story, the game Left Alive came out from Japan, and it's already $30 in Japan. This game, people who have seen the reviews for this game, it tanked. It's such a bad game. Jim Sterling has a video of it, but this is another game that was just like, it had cool artwork, because the person who did the art, for the box art and stuff, is the designer of Metal Gear. Like, well, not Kojima or anything, but they did the artwork for like the Metal Gear stuff. And so people were like so cool about this game. They thought it was going to be part of the Front Mission games. but it's set in the Front Mission universe. And they said this is the quickest game that went to bargain binish numbers, that dropped half price. The game has only been out from right now. It's only been out for 2 weeks, but after the week that it came out, they slashed 50% because of the bad reviews and ratings that they was getting. So Square Enix is acting like this game doesn't exist, and this is a problem with Square Enix because the Last Man or whatever, that one beat 'em up game that came out of nowhere, they showed it.
Yep.
They showed it at E3, and then everybody was just like, "What the world is this?" And then it came out, and it was garbage. Rephrase that. I'm sorry. It wasn't garbage. It was questionable content. Yes, I
euphemism for garbage.
Yes, I have said. Someone said that I have to be more professional, so I can't say garbage. So I just said, yeah, okay, this game is.
Then I'll say it was shitty. Okay, there. I'll be the unprofessional one.
Okay, she said it. I'm saying that it was questionable content.
Nice.
But yeah, what did you guys think? Like when the game drops like half price after it came out, do you think Fallout 76 should happen to that game? Cause
go ahead, Kathleen. You've got something to say.
No, actually, I don't. I just.
No, you're moving. You got something to say.
You know what I'm all shocked that I even said shitty on a stream. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, thanks, Josh. You know,
I think it's out in America too. I think it's out here, but I think it was a worldwide release. It was just that a game like this, because I haven't really seen a lot of people review it, but the people who did gave it bad marks, gave it bad reviews, and to see a game just coming out a week after a $60 title dropping down to $30.
My whole thing is,
I bought it for $60, that's for sure.
But was it really a $60 game to begin with? And does price equate quality? That's a whole nother kind of discussion.
Yeah.
But because the game comes out at $60 doesn't mean it's better than a game that comes out at $15. Like Hollow Knight, for example.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hollow Knight was like $15 or $20. It could easily been $60.
Yeah.
And
well, it is. You get the collector's edition.
Well, that's a whole other thing. But I'm saying, does that equate quality? I don't think it does.
Depending on the publisher, and not so much the developer, depending on the publisher, they're going to release it at a price that they think is respectable because they gotta put it at that price so they can recoup the development cost.
Right.
So it's about recouping that cost, regardless of what the quality comes out as. They have to put it out and so they can recoup the cost. And then Colonial Marines is an example.
Yeah.
Mass Effect Andromeda is a good example. It's just that they have to put it out at $60 trying to recoup the cost. They have some story, some history behind them. They're not great games. Well, Mass Effect Andromeda is a great game. I will say that. I think just some of the opinions just overblew it. But like Alien Colonial Marines was kind of sold to us on a lie. But they still have to sell it at $60 because they have to recoup the cost. A lot of people feel like it shouldn't be worth $60. It shouldn't even be released because what they showed really wasn't what the game was all about. But that's another story also. But to hear but this is, to me personally, this is the first time I'm hearing a Japanese company cut their losses and drop the price of a new game a week after it's been out.
I do feel that is kind of a symptom of what's happening. Japan is becoming less and less relevant, and like the Western, the United States, for example, is becoming more relevant, especially with Sony, especially like with Nintendo even. Like, for example, PlayStation 4 launched here first, and Sony, like Santa Monica and, Sony, like here is actually controlling the brand for the first time. And so I think we're seeing that more and more. And I think we're going to see that with going forward.
I would agree with you to a point.
Okay. What's the point you don't agree with me to?
The point I don't agree with you to is that Sony is not as big in Japan.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's huge.
But the thing about it is Nintendo has such a big market in Japan over Sony. Sony sells great in America. That I agree with. With you. But there's been a rise of Japanese games being more accepted and taking kind of the reign back of discussion and talk over America publishers and developers.
But not here, though.
But yes, here.
Where?
Because of Nintendo and the success of Switch, there's been, and I said this like on my other podcast, Nintendo Power Block. I was talking to my friends, and I was just like, because of Switch, Bethesda has been getting a new light of acceptance and love from a lot of players that they didn't like. The last time they got love, like really big love, in Skyrim, and after that, it was pretty. Fallout 4 was hyped, but then that hype fell down. Like, and a lot of people didn't speak about it. When Skyrim came out for Switch, people was hyped. When Doom came out for Switch, that was the first time people mentioned Doom, that they wanted to get to 1 million. And Doom been out on Xbox One and PS4 and nobody talked about it. Wolfenstein didn't even get a blips. Wolfenstein 2 didn't even give a blips when it came out. That mug came to Switch, everybody was talking about it. Even when they announced it as a Nintendo Direct, everybody was talking about it. So it was just like Bethesda was getting as much crap that they was getting for Fallout 76. People still was just like, man, playing Doom, playing Wolfenstein on my Switch is so good, it's so great. So they were making up that thing where we still have to deal with EA and Activision and all their craziness, But when we're talking about video game companies, we've been talking about Capcom, we've been talking about Square Enix, we've been talking about Platinum, Bandai Namco. We've been talking about a lot of Japanese developers bringing these games over here, and we praise them more than we praise American developers. Sony do have it on lock with Naughty Dog and with Sucker Punch and Bloodborne and stuff. And don't forget, nobody was talking about From Software at all until Dark Souls. When have you heard the PlayStation community mention anything from Software while Armored Core was out? And Armored Core have tons of games out, and nobody cared about them until Dark Souls came out. And then people even got back into Demon Souls. But nobody was caring about From Software. From Software is a Japanese developer.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sony is doing great in America definitely because of Microsoft's mishaps with their E3 Xbox One deal. But nobody was really talking about them like Nintendo has been with their developers, bringing Japanese developers, indie developers, their first party, some of the third party that people didn't expect. Like, they've been bringing them on board where the conversation and their games have been doing so good.
Yeah, I agree.
And we here in America, we getting mad at Activision because of what with the jobs being cut, with them, how they messed up with Bungie and Destiny 2, how Game Informer latest episode, one of the guys who left Sledgehammer talking about they wanted to bring something new out, and Activision told them no, that they only want them to make Call of Duty games. Like Like really, Battlefield 5, 60% of the game is not even done yet, and they wanted $60. Anthem being like Anthem having all of their troubles and stuff, and it's just like Activision and EA is the biggest USA companies out here. Why are they having a hard time? And why are when people do talk about them, they're talking about them in a negative manner?
Okay.
No. Whatever we talk about, look at Square Enix, which is a Japanese company. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. Yay! Everybody got their game. Silence. Final Fantasy is coming to Switch on all of these games, and everybody's posting more pictures and stories about Final Fantasy than they are doing with Kingdom Hearts. And don't forget, Kingdom Hearts 3 has been in development for years.
Right.
But where's the Sony talk about that? So I agree with you that Sony is doing something right here in America, but they're not doing it big in Japan like Nintendo is.
Okay. No, I agree with that, and they are, but I just don't know if they're losing relevance in Japan because they're not in that handheld market. They're not. They're not getting in, in the kind of vibe that the people in Japan want.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know. I don't live there. I haven't gone there. I don't know what they're actually playing. Obviously, they're playing a lot of mobile. They're playing a lot of things they can play on the train or on, commute to work.
Right.
Things like that. So that may be why. And they've kind of have a more Western focus, Sony does right now.
And that part I do agree. They have more of a Western focus than the East. And I'm not trying to knock Sony in Japan because Sony in Japan is doing good.
Mm-hmm.
But when video games get reported out of Japan, it's mostly related to mobile or Nintendo stuff.
Right.
We don't really I would love to hear that The Last of Us sold 3 million in Japan alone. I would love to hear that and have that discussion.
And I doubt that's happening.
And that's the problem. And that's what I want to hear. I'll hear it in America without no problem. I expect to hear that conversation.
But at the same time, though, Last of Us, for example, is a Western developed game. Even though it is exclusive.
Yeah.
Exclusive to a Sony platform, it is a Western developed game by Naughty Dog. So that is a game that is going to appeal more. I would just think out of the bat to the Western culture, because it's that for some reason Western culture likes to see all of it burned to the ground, and then what's ever left just kind of hanging on. I don't know why, but even I am drawn to those kind of stories. So I'm just okay. In Japan, maybe not so much, and maybe because in their own history they had some other things with that. So so maybe they're just we're okay with that. I just don't know why, but I do believe that Sony as a whole is becoming more of a Western focused company, and so they are relying more because they're making more money here, and so they're relying more on what the Western audiences have to want and have to say.
And the sad thing about that, they have to do that in order to keep their company up and running.
Right, because Sony as a whole is their TV division's doing terrible. Their movie division is not making really a lot of money. The only really division of their company that makes money is the PlayStation brand.
Yeah.
And wherever it's thumping is where they're going to go to. And if it's really, it's really going in the Western front, they're just going to keep going.
Yes. And speaking, Captain, you have any thoughts? And speaking of the Western, and time to talk about one last story in the U.S.
Yep.
EA is not doing a press conference for E3. So we got two publishers out. Sony's not doing nothing as a conference, but they might have something. EA is doing EA Play, but they're not having a conference. But they're going to be streaming and having streamers. Sorry about that, everybody. Streamers kind of show off upcoming games and stuff. And I have to ask you guys, do you think that it was because of what the reception of EA conference was last year, and how it was
shitty.
How it was.
Yeah, it was
how-
total
how-
garbage. I'm not professional, so I say garbage. So yeah,
How yeah, what just the reception, and do you guys think it's a win or a loss to us? Is it a win or loss to EA?
I'll let Kathy go first.
Frankly, I could give a shit about EA. I mean, really, they don't have. Do they have much coming out? I haven't even really been paying attention to EA. EA is kind of like the biggest joke. A lot
There's-
of times.
Shots fired.
There's
And I'm playing.
You're playing
And
for
I'm playing
keeps, Kathleen.
Apex.
right. There is 2 games that's supposed to come out this year. We're still waiting for the reveal. Star Wars Fallen, Fallen something, whatever that one is. And then that indie game with that lady coming out talking about the emotions and stuff like that. So those 2 games, but like Unravel 2, Command and Conquer for mobile, Anthem, the
There's a lot of
sports
stuff.
games. All of that stuff is out. Battlefield 5 and stuff. All of that is out. Besides Battle Royale for Battlefield 5 and some of the other content. So most of EA's E3 press conference from last year, most of their stuff is out now.
Yes.
Here's what I'm thinking. I think people have been looking at the success of Nintendo and their Nintendo Directs and how they've been presenting at E3, and I think that's been the big problem. When we look at what happened at the past E3, who is the most successful, I think, and it always seems to be Nintendo. Nintendo is a very forward-thinking company, and they really think about how they're going to present and what the customers want and how to get that
Exactly.
information across. This is why I'm not surprised we're going to start seeing these changes, and I think we're going to see these companies model their presentations, model their ways of doing things based on how Nintendo is going. No matter what anyone says, everyone always makes fun of Nintendo. Everybody always says that's the third child, the Nintendo sets the bar. Nintendo sets the stage. They are the ones who are the most innovative. They are the company that's the most forward-thinking, and they're the ones who bring the most to the gaming industry.
And
If
I
they
would-
didn't,
and I
if they
agree with you.
didn't,
Yeah.
if they didn't do it, these companies would not be trying to imitate them. So that's
I'm
that's what I
actually
think is what's going on. And I think that, and that's why I think Sony pulled out, because they saw the success of Nintendo. I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft changes the way they do things, and that's why E3 is evolving based on what Nintendo did.
And that's
Yep.
I was gonna say, I was gonna take your thing further, Kathleen, when you mentioned Nintendo Direct, because Nintendo Direct happens all year, regardless of what platform you play on. Everybody's watching. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you don't like it. Everything that gets announced at Nintendo Direct, you will check on social media. You will talk to your friends. Podcasts are being dropped on. People are live streaming it, and
Yep.
people are giving reactions to whatever it gets announced at Nintendo Direct. So I 100% agree with you. Like,
Eddie's excited, Kathleen. Watch out.
no, because she mentioned when she mentioned the Nintendo Direct, everybody has been talking about that, about Nintendo setting that bar. People
Right.
laughed at Nintendo when they pulled
When they
away
first
from
started,
this.
you're right. Yeah,
But when
because
they
it was this well-produced, well-orchestrated. They told the story they wanted to tell.
And when it kept dropping like almost every 3-4 months, or there was being a surprise or something, people were tuning in to watch it. Now definitely how Iwata just came on, made fun of himself and stuff, memes about it, but everybody sat down and watched it. You see Iwata come out and speak, you bowed along with him, or you was just like, I got my snacks, my pizza and drink, and for the next 15 plus minutes, I'm about to be entertained. I could laugh at it. I could not be interested in what game that they show, but there's something about it that's drawn me to be like, you know what? Arms might not. I don't know what Arms is about, but I'll pre-order it because something about this.
It looked good.
It
Yeah.
looked good. Then you play the beta and be like, oh crap, I gotta get this game. Really only Nintendo could do that and stuff. So, Josh, your thoughts? I'm sorry, but yes, Kathy, I agree with you.
No, my thoughts are pretty much the same, honestly. Like, people always made fun of Nintendo for coming out and doing this stuff and just, telling the story they wanted to tell. E3 is becoming, I don't know if it's becoming less relevant, but it's becoming different. And I think a lot of people are kind of scared about that. They're like, oh, we're not going to have this epic, media launch type thing. But I really do feel that E3 is about the fans. Even though it's about us, hardcore people that we sit there, we digest this, we do this podcast, we are the people that they're aiming for. And if Nintendo, for example, can do this totally rehearsed, totally, logical kind of like, what they want to show is what they show, everyone's going to get in on it. And Nintendo's saving a ton of money.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, thought, I think they thought when Nintendo first started doing this is because they're in the Wii U days, it was kind of, the dark times for Nintendo, I would say. It was kind of their medieval times, so to speak. But they had a thing going, and people liked it. People like where you can tune in for 30 to 40 minutes. You're going to hear what Nintendo has to say, and that's it. Now, Microsoft is taking it to kind of an extreme, and I believe that they will for a long time, because Microsoft is an American company, and whatever you say about American, Japanese, European companies, American companies want the big splashy show. They want to show everything is going, and Americans love that. And I do feel that myself as a gamer, I love that idea. Like, I'm gonna tune into this show, and it's gonna be this big, like, boom, 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 boom in your face. It's like 90 minutes of games. I don't see anything else but games, and it's live. And for some reason, the live aspect of it, for me anyway, is more exciting than the direct aspect of it. But I also understand that it's a business, and they can do both things. I'm used to Nintendo doing that. If Microsoft started doing that, or even Sony started doing that, and they're going to, I think, eventually, it's going to be different. It's going to be a learning curve for us. We're going to kind of okay, at first I don't think we're going to be as excited, and then we're going to get used to it. And I feel that's what they're going to do. I feel that's what's going to happen.
And I like what Microsoft do inside Xbox whenever they could present it.
Yeah, they just did one a couple days ago. It was great.
Right. Yeah. And I love when they do that, because it's just like, you guys not only you're controlling the message, but you're presenting in a way that we all can watch and we all can discuss and get our hopes out.
And I think we love that live aspect because we feel connected. The brand.
Yes.
Right.
And we love the brand, and that's why we want to see it succeed.
Right.
So and I think we are overly critical of things because we love them so much.
Right. And I think with Microsoft that I love when they do their live presentation. Last year I said Nintendo won, with Microsoft coming in second. But if I had to go between Microsoft and Sony, Microsoft won that a whole, would be number one. Because not only did they show great games and gameplay, those announcements of owning companies that you wouldn't expect, doing something really unexpected is what set Microsoft apart. They didn't have to put out no car, they didn't have to bring out no banjo, they didn't have to do nothing about that. They brought games. We were able to drink every time they said world premiere or exclusive. We are just like you. While it's going live, I mean, there's some technical things with lag and stuff, but that's the internet.
Right.
We all could talk while we're watching it, and getting this information to be like, whoa, they just did what, and having that excitement, whether we predicted it or not. we just, like you said, we feel connected to that. With Nintendo Direct, we want to see what gets revealed. We want to see what crazy way they're going to introduce the show and carry this thing. Like, what the heck are they doing with puppets? What the heck are they doing with a robot chicken? What the heck is Iwata and Reggie fighting doing?
What's happening?
All this craziness. What's holding up these bananas? And we all love that. We expect that wackiness from Nintendo. And when they even don't bring us the wackiness, they are just dropping just such a good Direct throughout the year. They don't even have to make the Nintendo E3 Direct good, whatever. Because throughout the year, you're going to get some good Directs. Last one we just had, people are still talking about it. What they did for the Game Awards show with Persona 5, when Joker come to Smash.
Yeah.
You watch the reactions and you see how people go bunkers.
Yeah.
Now Master Chief, something from Microsoft shows up in Smash, is done.
It's over. It's over.
It's down. Yeah. So, but getting back to EA, I really think that it's a loss for EA, but a win for us. And reason why I say it's a loss for EA and a win for us is that we don't have to endure all the stuff that they've been known to do.
I mean, EA is, you sit there for, what it was, a 90-minute conference and 45 minutes with sports games. Stuff we already know they're going to do.
We don't even think about the sports games. It's that everything else that they do is so lackluster. Now, the host, Andrea, she did a phenomenal job, and I want her to host more. If EA was able to have another conference, I want her back to host it. I think the problem is with us is that we don't have to slush through all that mess. We don't have to hear all the talks about Battlefield 5 or Battlefront 2 and stuff. My thing would be, it's a loss for EA is because they are not a company who's willing to bring anything new to the table. You're not bringing no new IPs. You don't really support the indies that come out, because A Way Out didn't get supported even though it's sold. Fee came out, didn't get supported. Unravel and Unravel 2 came out, didn't get supported. Like EA didn't market none of this stuff. And it was just like, you focus more on Battlefield 5. You didn't even focus on Meta in your sports games because they didn't get no promotion. You probably focusing on Anthem trying to get that out. But it was just like something from DICE, you guys gonna promote more than anybody else. And we don't care about that. What you did with Command & Conquer, you took a beloved franchise and did some nonsense to it that people was just like, what is this craziness? So it's a loss for EA because they're not willing to do anything new. You can bring sequels if you want to, but I want to see some new games. I want to see how creative when a team can make something with a new art style. Apex Legend, great. Let's see Titanfall 3 in that art style and see what you guys could do. Yoshi's Woolly World, craft that material. What can you do with that if that was The Sims? Like, what can you do with different art styles, with different graphics and mentality? Your games as a service system is not working. Personally, for me, it's not working for them because Battlefield 5 came out and that didn't work. Battlefield 1 had problems. Anthem is having problems. And it's just like, whatever your marketing focus is, it's not working. Battlefront 2 had a horrible release. And you guys are still trying to recuperate from that, and it's still not working. So it's a loss for y'all if y'all not going to show us anything new and really challenge yourself. It's a win for us because we don't have to slush through none of that. We don't have to be up here making fun of your conference, because by the time it comes to E3, a lot of us is going to not even pay attention to the stream. We'll look at the Destructoid to see what got announced and be like, okay, good, let's move on.
Yeah, I hear you.
Last year's PC conference was better than EA. And I literally sat and watched that PC conference and said, whatever y'all did this year, bring it this year for 2019. Because the games that the Nightcrawler, and there was some that the hospital one. There's a Sabre, Sabre, I think, or Saber or something. That looked really interesting, and talking about the chips and switching back and forth and just showing something different. They kept it to 90 minutes, or it might have been 2 hours, but they kept it moving. They did something really good about it. They learned their lesson after all the criticism. They came back stronger, and what they showed out of that conference really put them in the forefront. Be like, okay, y'all got something good. Do this again next year. You could go bigger if you want to, but your chips and your indie games and games that you're gonna show, get some deals with Epic Games or with Steam, and be like, hey, you guys got like this game. You guys like the Epic Store? Epic is releasing 15% off all their games. Don't have the Epic launcher? Join in and get additional 5%.
Yeah.
And bam, there you go. And people will hop on there to get that 20%. But it's something that the PC game market has, the PC conference has learned, that EA has. So I feel like it's a win to us, a loss for EA.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
Everybody, that is the show. So glad that you guys were able to join us. Glad that hopefully you guys enjoyed the conference. Hopefully you guys enjoy hearing me back on the mic, I guess, and being the crazy stuff that I have. But Kathy, can you give us some of the plugs? Where can they find us? Break it down for the people.
So, this episode will be uploaded. You'll be listening to us on Podbean at World11, all one word, all spelled out. You can also catch us on Spotify, iTunes, and the Google Play Store. You can visit our YouTube channel where we have our video of the episode there, plus other videos, unboxings, and other stuff that's going on that we are doing. You can also like us on our Facebook page and follow us on Twitch, where we are currently streaming. And I think that was it. Oh, and follow us on Twitter.
Yes, they can follow us on Twitter at World1_1podcast. You can email the show at World11podcast@gmail.com. You want to hear what you guys think about the stories, want to see what's in your pipeline, what games that you're playing, what you're anticipated, games that you finished, even games that you traded in. I want to know. I think we all want to learn about that. But everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Kathleen. I have been your host, Eddie V. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me. Larry will be back for next episode. Like I said, I'll have another Yoshi Jack for you guys for next week. But with that, everybody, we are out. Any last words, anybody?
Nope.
All right. And we are out at
Bye, everybody.
World 1 Podcast.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.